Police have now issued an arrest warrant for former University of Kentucky cheerleader Laken Snelling. And this is after a Kentucky grand jury indicted Snelling on one count of first-degree manslaughter in the death of her newborn baby. Now, Snelling was first arrested last August after a baby was found dead, wrapped in a towel, thrown in a trash bag in her closet. The 21-year-old told police she'd passed out after giving birth, fell on top of the baby, and when she woke up, she reportedly saw the infant turning blue and purple. But then there was a further investigation, and it reportedly revealed that Snelling told medical staff the newborn had actually shown some fetal movement, made a whimper after he was born. So
she had a newborn in her closet and thought no one would ever find out. But when police arrived at her home in Lexington, Kentucky, they weren't responding to a normal call. They were walking into something much darker at first glance. Everything looked normal. She was 21 years old. A college student, a cheerleader, surrounded by friends, classes, routines. The kind of life that doesn't raise suspicion, but behind that normal image, something had been hidden for months. According to investigators, there were signs of a concealed pregnancy. Search history, deleted photos, things no one else was supposed to see, and by the time anyone realized something was wrong, it was already too late. It started early in the morning, around 4 a.m. According to reports, her roommates heard something, a loud noise, unusual, but not enough to immediately call for help. Inside her room, investigators say she gave birth alone, no doctor, no hospital, no one else present. At some point, the baby fell to the floor, and she said she lost consciousness shortly after when she woke up. The situation had changed. She told investigators the baby appeared unresponsive. But there's one detail that stands out. She later said the baby may have made a sound, a small whimper, and that detail would become critical because it suggests something investigators couldn't ignore, the possibility that the baby had been alive. Instead of calling for help, the investigators say something else happened. The newborn was wrapped in a towel, placed inside a bag.
And if I'm understanding correctly, you tell me if I'm wrong, there has to be an intent. Intent to cause serious physical injury or intent to cause death through an extreme emotional disturbance or intentional abuse, and then it results in death. It's not like, oh, I fell asleep and I fell on top of the baby. It was reckless. It was an accident. This is different. What leads authorities to believe this? And again, why indict her now?
Well, we know after the second autopsy findings that the baby died due to asphyxiation of unknown means. And basically, they know that the baby suffocated, although they can't tell exactly how.
And moved into a closet. Authorities also believe the scene was cleaned. Then she left, according to reports. She skipped class, sat in her car, ordered food, outside. Everything looked normal. Inside the apartment, something had been hidden. Hours later, the truth started to surface. Roommates went into the room. What they found didn't make sense. Signs of childbirth, blood. And eventually, the closet. Inside, they found the newborn, wrapped, hidden, unresponsive. That's when the 911 call was made. At first, the medical findings didn't give clear answers. The autopsy was inconclusive, but later reports revealed something far more serious. Investigators determined the baby had been born alive, and the cause of death was listed as asphyxia by undetermined means. That single detail changed the entire case, because now investigators weren't just asking what happened, they were asking what happened after the birth. Authorities moved forward with charges, concealing the birth, tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, but the case didn't stop there. A grand jury reviewed everything, the timeline, the evidence, individual testimony, the autopsy, and then came the escalation. A new charge was added, first-degree manslaughter. Even with charges filed, the case still leaves questions behind. What exactly happened in those moments after the birth? Why was there a delay before anyone called for help? What was going through her mind during those hours? Investigators can reconstruct timelines. They can analyze evidence. But moments like these are often impossible to fully understand. There's one more detail that adds another layer to this case. A safe haven baby box was located just minutes away from her home. A place where a newborn can be safely surrendered. no questions asked. That option existed, but it was never used. From the outside, it looked like a normal life. A college student, a cheerleader, a routine. But behind one closed door, everything was different.
She's now set to be arraigned on April 20th and faces a maximum of 20 years in prison if convicted.
What started as something hidden became a case that raised serious questions. And as the legal process continues, the full truth may only come out piece by piece. Authorities reportedly examined her phone, trying to understand what she knew and when she knew it. One of the most important parts of the investigation focused on a single question: how much time passed between the birth and the moment help was finally called? Minutes matter, seconds matter. And when timelines aren't exact, they leave space for doubt. Cases like this are never just about evidence. They're also about human behavior, stress, fear, denial. There's a reason stories like this spread so quickly. It's not just what happened, it's who it happened to. As the case continues through the legal system, every detail will be examined. Every timeline questioned, every piece of evidence analyzed. The outcome of the case will depend on how those facts are presented and how they are understood. But inside one room, everything was different. What started as something hidden became a case that raised serious questions. If you're into real cases, dark stories, and investigations, subscribe to Ghost Synergy 13, because some stories don't end when the headlines fade.